I'm Rachna, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies, Ramya College. Honor to welcome today's speaker, Mr. Sainath Maharatha, founder and CEO of Strong Human Network, who will take up the session today, that is enrichment of employable skills. I would also like to welcome all the participants for today's session again. Welcome, dear participants. Now, I request Mrs. Savita BH, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies, to introduce our speaker, Mr. Sainath Maharatha. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rachana. It's my immense pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Sainath Maharatha. Sainath is the founder of Strong Human Network. Through SHN, one can inculcate the strong human lifestyle, which helps one improve the most important life skills one needs in life, namely confidence, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and a progressive attitude. SHN offers lifestyle membership across various segments of people across the globe. For students, it's an opportunity to connect and learn from the best in the industry. It also helps one in finding their career path and job opportunities. After graduating in computer science engineering, Mr. Sainath was selected as a probationary officer in State Bank of India and worked there for 1 year. Later, he did his MBA from the prestigious IIM Calcutta. After MBA, he worked for senior management roles in Stezilla and Paytm. In 2018, he started his own venture, Strong Human Network. A warm welcome to your session. So now I request Mr. Sainath Maharat sir to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the kind introduction. So, hello, everyone. I think all of you are spread across different parts of India. So, can I have a good morning from all of you guys? Can you just mention where are you currently located in the chat box? Okay, I can see Kerala, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Punjab, Andhra, Lucknow, Bihar. Wow, Kodagu, Darjeeling, Tripura. I think we have representation from all across the country. I mean, and I'm very happy to see that we are talking to an audience which is such a diverse set. So I guess the message which we are going to speak today, it's going to reach different parts of the country. So let me start the session. So I'll be sharing my screen. Right. Can everyone see my screen? I hope so. Okay. So yeah. So once again, a very warm good morning to everyone. So today's topic is enrichment of employable skills. So presented by me, I am the founder and CEO of Strong Human Network. So let's, before we get into the topic, can the coordinator make the first poll, which we have decided yesterday?
Yes, sir. The poll is on. Sir, can you view the poll, sir?
Yes, I can view the poll.
So we request the participants to vote for the poll. Participants, please vote for the.
So this poll is mainly so that I know like the audience better, and I can fine tune the presentation as per the audience. So if there are more first year students, second year students, I would like to know that.
Participants, you'll get 1 minute time to vote for the poll. So now it is 47 minutes, 47 seconds, sorry, 51, 55 seconds. Yeah, it's time up.
Yeah.
So the result of the poll. So 41% first year students,
Right.
21% second year students, 15% third year students, 20% postgraduate, 3% faculties, and working professionals are 1%. Thank you, participants.
Thank you, everyone. So, ma'am, I have one question here. Can you tell total number of participants currently the session?
Yes, sir. It is 310, 311, 312. It's going on.
Okay, okay. Fine. Let's start. So, majority, I think you are first years.
Yes,
So
sir.
you are just into the college, and you have entered the college with very big dreams, and you must be looking forward to enjoy the college life more rather than looking for how career will be after graduation, right? So now let us look at today's context where we are sitting at the moment. If it was normal days, we would have been sitting in Ramaya College in an auditorium. I would be speaking from the dais, and all of you will be would have been attending in the campus itself. But now, because of the extraordinary situations we are facing across the globe, we are conducting this session through a digital medium, and each of you are sitting at the comfort of your homes and attending this session. Some of you might be sitting, some of you might be sleeping, some of you might be doing something else while listening to this session. So this is how the current context is. And you see the faculty is coordinating from the college. And the point I'm trying to drive is that we are living in extraordinary times. So today is the most important situation in each and everyone's life. Most of us are in 20 to 35 age bracket, isn't it? So for all of us, I think this is the biggest crisis we have faced in our entire lives. So those who have born after 1980, 85, and till now, you have not seen much difficulties, troubles in life. The country has been peaceful. In 1991, Indian economy got liberalized. There was private sector, and India was growing. The last 10 years of India's economy is defined by growth. There has been massive growth in the country, and this has led to good jobs, good economy. And at the same time, you can also see that technology which we are currently using is advanced like anything. No one in the history of humanity were using the technology like we are using at the moment. But at the same time, there are certain challenges which we are facing currently. So the first and foremost challenge which we are facing is the coronavirus, and we don't have the medicine for it yet. So this this virus has thrown us into a situation where again we are back into a survival mode. Everyone is thinking what next, how the future is going to unfold. And to be very frank, nobody knows how it's going to unfold. And you are because of the technology and all, we see that everyone is leveraging the technology in their own way. Now you see that we are operating through Zoom, and I think the faculty and the administration of the college in the last 1 month, they had to learn a lot to be able to implement this kind of technology and make sure that all the participants are attending the classes virtually. So these are unprecedented situations. So at this point of time, I would like you to go to our next poll. So ma'am, can you execute the next poll, please?
Yes, sir. So we request the participants, please vote for the second question. How many of you are on multiple choice? Can you see the questions, the poll? Have two questions. How many of you are on multiple choice? And second one, have you ever played PUBG?
I think many will like the second question. I'm expecting 90% yes for the second question.
No shock, even if it is 100%. It's 49 seconds, 50 seconds. Time is up. 55. Yes, participants, it's time up. So we are sharing the results now. For Facebook, 55%, Instagram, 85%, LinkedIn, 33%, TikTok, 17%. The second question, have you ever played PUBG? Yes, 41%, no, 61%.
I'm completely shocked and devastated with the second question's
Same
answers.
here, sir.
I think Ramaya College students are very sincere
Yes.
and they focus on academics more than playing PUBG. Anyway, so one thing I expected that many will be on Instagram, which I found to be true, and I think only 20-25% are on TikTok. I think you guys are not utilizing your time effectively because TikTok is the latest rage happening across the country, or maybe because of the India-China war, you guys have decided to uninstall TikTok. I don't know, but yeah, interesting results. Yeah. So let's move to the next question. So do we know where we are going to in the next few years in terms of what kind of technology, what kind of jobs, what kind of industries are going to flourish? Any of you, do you guys know where are we going? The fact is that nobody knows. This is the truth. Nobody across the world knows how exactly the world is going to shape in the next few years. Maybe 100 years back also they were not clear. And even after 100 years of development and so much advancement in technology, still nobody knows how the world is going to transform. Modi doesn't know, Trump doesn't know, China's president doesn't know, Google CEO doesn't know, Facebook CEO doesn't know. Everyone is trying to do their own bit. But the fact is that nobody exactly knows how it's going to be. That is the current reality. That also gives us one opportunity, that because nobody knows how it's going to be, it gives opportunity for each and every one of us to shape the future in the way we want. That is, if you know how to do it. So in life, how it happens is either you play the game or you get played. So one should get ready in such a way that they are in a position to play the game instead of getting played by others. So the most important thing I would like to highlight today for you guys is that we have to be prepared for the unexpected. Don't expect that all the future is going to be rosy and everything you are going to get job immediately and you are going to get placed and you are going to get thousands of rupees of salary from day one and you are going to lead a very happy life. Don't have that kind of expectation. That might become true, but there is also a very good chance that it might not be true. So one has to be prepared to face the unexpected. So now the next question is, how do we prepare? So when we know, for suppose we know that tomorrow we have to go and play a cricket match. So we will know that, okay, let's play the cricket match. Let's practice batting, bowling. Let's see how the pitch is. Let's understand historically how many matches have been played on this pitch. How many have home team won? How many have the opposition won? So you can do when you know that this is the game you are going to play. How do you prepare when you don't know what is the game you are going to play? That is the question we are trying to answer today. So first and foremost thing is that, okay, you are in college and you are most probably looking to get a job after you graduate, right? But don't just think of a job, because what will you do after getting a job? Maybe in college you are thinking that this is the ultimate thing, like all your dreams are about getting that best paid job in the campus placements maybe. So once you, let's say you got the job, so what will you do next? So you'll go start working there. You need to understand your colleagues, you should understand your boss, you should understand your work, right? And at the same time, you get salary, you start spending the salary on your favorite things, isn't it? And you maybe some of you will start saving money also, right? So once you get the salary, again you lead a certain life. So job is a medium through which you lead a good life, isn't it? So you have to focus on what kind of life you want to lead, and your job will help you in leading that life. So my point is, look at life as a whole. So let us go back 200 years back. Let's say we are in 17th century India. So and you are just a young person in a certain village. What will you be thinking? Might be you will be thinking about how to earn my food. So like in my farm, whether we have enough food to survive the next famine or next flood, isn't it? How, like, what are the kind of diseases we might get, our family might get, how to protect us from ourselves. What is the leader of the village saying, what is the panchayat president saying? So these were the kind of things you would be thinking at that time. You would not be thinking about a job. So all these things are related to your own survival and how you lead your life. So start looking at life as a whole, and what do you want to do in your life? What are your interests? And based on that, you will automatically figure out what kind of job you want to do. So my point is, look at life as a whole. So let's say you are just born and you are talking to people. So how does it happen? So for suppose if you are there, there are people around you, there is nature around you. So immediately what you need to do, you need to understand yourself, you need to understand people around you, and you should understand the nature around you. That is the actual life, isn't it? So how do we do this? We have created a proper process for you to guide through this whole life, whatever might be the situation in your life. Maybe your professional situation, personal situation, there is a method to handle that. So most of you, if you think, there are a lot of issues which you might be facing at personal level. So at professional level, you have to learn certain subjects, you have to attend the exams, and then you have to clear them, then you have to get a degree, then you have to start looking out for job. That is a professional thing. But a lot of the youngsters today, they also face a lot of issues at personal level. So when I say at personal level, let's take your family. How is your family doing in this uncertain situations? How is your mother, how is your father, how is your sister, how is your brother, how is the financial situation of your family, and what you can do as a family member to help your family? How is the situation in your locality? So all these things you are going to affect you. For suppose, how is the relationship between you and your mother, how is the relationship between you and your father? I mean, you might be looking at someone, you might be interested in someone, and you want to talk to that person. So these all situations affect you, and one must be ready to handle all these kind of situations. So stop looking at your life only as job or only as my friends, because your life and your world is much bigger than this. And as you grow older, you will know, you will have to face these situations. Even if you close your eyes, a situation will come where you will have to face it. Just because like you closed your eyes doesn't mean that that situation will not come. So challenges are going to come in your life even though you want it or you don't want it. The good thing you can do is be prepared for the same. If you are not prepared for facing the situations, you will be like, oh my god, I didn't do anything, I was just leading my life peacefully, and suddenly all problems have come to me. That will be your reaction when you face those challenges. But those things are not going to wait for you. Those challenging situations are anyhow going to happen. Best thing is, be prepared. Be prepared mentally, be prepared with the right attitude. So start thinking in these lines. What do you want to do in your life, and how do you want to live your life? Think on these terms. So in this context, I am going to introduce you something called the strong human framework. So I have a very simple solution for everything in your life. So the simple solution is be a strong human. If you be a strong human, you will be able to you will be able to handle your personal situation as well as professional situation in the most graceful manner, and you will be able to overcome them easily. So tell me guys, so do you think you are a strong human already? So comment in the chat box if yes or no. Do you want to be a strong human? I'm not seeing any comments yet.
Yes, sir. It's many of them are responding yes.
Okay, fine. Yes. So see, you want to be a strong human. So let us define who is a strong human first. So this is the most important part. So let me take you through this definition of a strong human. So let us understand. A strong human is a confident, self-aware individual with a fair world exposure and a direction in life, who is willing to work on oneself with a set of tools to achieve one's excellence potential. So I'll repeat it for you. A strong human is so observe the keywords. A strong human is a confident, self-aware individual with a fair world exposure and a direction in life, who is willing to work on oneself with a set of tools to achieve one's excellence potential. So let me break this definition for you. So first and foremost trait of a strong human is confidence. So if you want to do anything in your life, first you have to be confident. For suppose you want to go and talk to your HOD or dean regarding some issue or challenge. First of all, you need to have a confidence that you can go and talk to them. If you don't have the confidence that you can talk to them, you will not even approach them, isn't it? So confidence is the first step for anything in your life. Anything, literally. For suppose you are interested in someone of opposite sex and you want to talk to them. So you need to have that confidence to go and speak. If you don't have that confidence, you will just keep observing and you will never make a move. So confidence again, I'll delve deeper into confidence later. So let me go to the next point, next keyword, which is self-awareness. Self-awareness. What does self-awareness mean? So self and awareness. Awareness means observing your own situation. So self-awareness means observing your own situation, whatever is happening. So there are two aspects to it. What is happening inside you and what is happening around you, right? So what happens inside you? So for suppose there are thoughts which keep going on your mind, isn't it? So there are certain emotions which come in your mind. So all these things, and you do certain things. For suppose you decide to bunk the class. That is an action which you have taken. You should be aware. What are the consequences if I bunk the class? You get a thought, you get a negative thought, which is not useful for you. You need to observe whether that negative thought is useful for you or not. If it is not useful, should I do it? So doing it or not doing it is secondary. First and foremost thing you have to do is become aware of that thing which is happening, which either it's your thought, either it's your emotion or your thought pattern. So these all comes under self-awareness. According to the recent studies by top-notch universities such as Harvard and all, self-awareness is the most important skill needed to succeed in the job market in the future. That is the most important thing. If you don't want your job to be replaced with a machine through artificial intelligence, you need to be self-aware. That is the starting point. If you don't be self-aware, you are not going to be attractive in the job market, and your professional life is going to be very, very challenging. Hence, the self-awareness is the most important thing. So if there is one thing which I want you to remember from this entire session, that one thing would be self-awareness. Yeah. So moving to the next point, next keyword, which is fair world exposure. So you need to understand how the world around you is. So when I say world, so there are multiple aspects to this world. So the people you interact on a daily basis, they are part of the world. The different subjects which exist in the world, like physics, business, management, arts, technology, coding, software, hardware, everything, these all comprise the world, the politics, everything. So the world around us is a huge place, and it's almost impossible to know every part of the world. But for your age and your background, some things are expected. For suppose people from BBA background, you might be expected about knowing about certain business which are happening around, what is happening in business in India, what is happening in business across the globe. You need to have a general understanding. That is very much essential. Or else you will, when you face challenging situations, you will be like, why it's happening to me, why it's happening to me. But if you know that what's happening around the world, you can identify the things which are affecting your personal life. For suppose if I didn't know that this virus is happening, and I'm like sitting and going out, and police stop me, and they fine me, and I don't know that there is a virus, I will be like, why are they doing this? I have a right to move within the city, right? So this will be my attitude if I don't know what's happening around the world. And getting the world exposure, it's a continuous process. You can't say that okay, till now I've already learned everything, I'll stay calm. And this is for everyone, not just the students, even the faculties. I'm telling you that you have to be updated with everything on a daily basis, and you should genuinely be curious about it. You don't think that, okay, this is some big problem which I don't have any other option, that is why I have to learn. If you go with that attitude, you might not be able to learn things, and you will not be able to learn effectively. Sachin Tendulkar became Sachin Tendulkar because he had a passion for cricket, not because his parents forced or he had to do a job to survive. That it doesn't work like that. So be genuinely interested in knowing the world around you. So that's the fair world exposure. Coming to the next keyword, which is the direction in life. So when you are confident, okay, I'm going to do something good in my life, and you are self-aware that, okay, these are my skills which I possess. And then you have world exposure that, okay, for my skill set, these are the kind of opportunities which are available in the industry. When you have these three things, automatically you will get a direction that, okay, this might be the best possible opportunity for me. So let us take an example of a first year student in your college. So he is confident that, okay, BBA, he has chosen BBA because he has certain understanding of the business and he likes business. Then he becomes self-aware that he can he is good at accounting. Let's say he is good at accounting and keeping books. And then he understands that in the world there are these new accounting softwares which are coming, and the industry is getting updated, and they need accountants with certain kinds of skill set. Now he gets a direction that, okay, this is what I need to learn in my field so that I can be employable and I can be part of the workforce. That is the direction. So here observe the word direction. I'm using the word direction, not a goal. I'm not saying that, okay, you are confident, you are self-aware, you have world exposure, so your goal should be getting an accountant job in PwC or KPMG. That then it becomes a goal. But in the world, it's very difficult to fix on one particular goal, because the world keeps changing. So when I'll give an example from my own life. So when I started my life, my career. So I was confident, I had good aptitude and logical reasoning abilities and all. So I thought that I want to do an MBA. Then I started preparing for the exams. But in my first attempt and second attempt, I didn't clear those exams. But I was in the right direction. So when I didn't get into an MBA program, I could get into State Bank, which had a similar syllabus for their entrance about aptitude. So I didn't reach my goal at that moment, but I was in the same direction. Later I could go to my doing an MBA, right? So you just make sure that you are in the right direction, and things will happen to you. So for suppose after I finished my MBA, so I thought that maybe I'll get a job with a very big MNC, and I'll be leading a very big market there. But I got into startups. So if it's very difficult to have a very singular goal, because the goal you have is a result of various things which go into your mind, and those things might be outdated by the time you reach there. So have a direction based on your confidence, self-awareness, and world exposure. Now moving to the next keyword is willingness. So once you have the direction, you need to have the willingness to work on yourself. So let's again fall back on the previous example. So this person X, who has a confidence and self-awareness about his accounting skills, and he knows about the world, that accounting industry is transforming in this direction, and these are the kind of opportunities available for him. Now he knows this. Now what next? So there will be a gap between where you are and what is expected from you to reach that opportunity. So you need to be willing to put that work to reach that skill level. So willingness to work on yourself is very important. If you think that I know everything, then you will not be able to work. Understand that world is a very huge place, and there are multiple factors, multiple forces which are acting on a daily basis. So you need to be always be willing to work on oneself. See, external situations are never in your control, but how you handle them is completely in your control. So if you are willing to work on yourself, then things can happen. Now moving on to our next word, which is tools. So when you want to work on something, you need a certain tool, right? So for suppose you need to fix you need to fix a CPU. You need to have the right tool to open it. You need to have the right knowledge to identify where the problem is, and again you need to have the right tool to remove the damaged piece and put it. So tools play a very important part in our life. So in fact, if you see, if you have read about history, evolution and all, the success of human is mainly due to tools, his ability to use tools. So we are able to use spanner. We have invented wheel. Wheel, as most of you know, wheel is one of the most transformative invention of the world. So it's a tool. So humans have this ability to use various tools. So now when I say tool, tools come in different shapes, different sizes, different concepts itself. For suppose the college which you are studying, it's a tool for you to achieve success in your life and to get educated. So there are various types of tools available in the world. It's on your capacity to identify which tool suits for you. So that's about tools. And last keyword in this definition is excellence. So you have to focus on excellence, whatever you are doing. Let's say you are, some of you have been selected to do a cultural fest in your college, right? So when will that cultural fest become successful? When each of you try to do your best, isn't it? So you have a team and you plan it, you want to do something, and everyone of you have to put the right efforts. Even if one of you is not trying to excel, it will show. For suppose there was a chief guest coming to attend the cultural fest, and you have appointed someone to take the guests from the vehicle to the dais, and say they are not interested in doing that work, and they don't dress well, they don't talk well, how will be the output? Because in that situation, that person is not chasing excellence, they are just doing for the heck of it. Then things won't happen well. So whatever you are doing, excellence. So it's not just about getting good marks in your academics. Whatever you do it well. So you are playing a sport, do it well. You are riding a bike, do it well. If you are playing PUBG, even that you do it well. If you are on Instagram, even that you do it well. Whatever you do, focus on excellence. For suppose, let's say you are on Instagram. So observe what's happening on Instagram. How I can make my profile the best. Think on those lines. To focus on excellence in that particular aspect of your life. For suppose you are facing certain issue with your family, financial issue, or just relationship issues. Think, how can I make this better? So when you focus on excellence, everything around you will change. So this completes our definition. So again, I would like to repeat the definition for everyone's benefit so that it goes inside your mind. A strong human is a confident, self-aware individual with a fair world exposure and a direction in life, who is willing to work on oneself with a set of tools to achieve one's excellence potential. So this is the overall definition of a strong human. So are you guys ready to be a strong human? Type yes if you are ready. Ma'am, where can I see the results? Are we getting any responses?
Yes, sir. It's almost 100% yes.
Okay, good to hear that. Okay, now I'll just go into each of the aspects here. So confidence. So when you say confidence can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. So for suppose someone might not be confident about swimming, because maybe someone is not confident about something else, not about a particular subject. So we need to understand confidence in a deeper level. So majorly confidence can be divided into 4 parts, depending on the major things which affect you. So there is a general confidence. So where if you just feel that, okay, whatever the situation, I'll be able to do, I can manage. That is general confidence. Or you are always scared, oh, what will happen to me? What will happen tomorrow? What will happen? That is lower confidence. And whatever it is, I'll do well. That is overconfidence. So in each of the aspects, there are lower confidence, optimum confidence, and overconfidence. Many people have overconfidence and many people have low confidence also. The best people have the optimum confidence, right? So that's about general confidence. Next is body confidence. Body confidence is like, let's just imagine you are walking around. How do you feel about yourself? Do you think someone is going to come and attack you, or come and they are going to insult you, or maybe anything? So body confidence is generally how you feel when you are around in the world, when you are walking, when you are talking to people. That is a body confidence. Next is the professional confidence. So professional confidence comes to your area of expertise. What kind of area you are entering, and where do you stand? So when it comes to professional confidence, it is very important to not become overconfident. Even I'm getting some noise. Hello. I think some of you can mute your system. Anyway, continuing. So professional confidence, again, you need, based on your situation in your life, you need to have a certain professional confidence to excel in your career. One disclaimer here is that never be overconfident in your professional life, because profession keeps evolving all the time. So have a confidence, make sure whether you are having confidence in the stream which you have chosen. Next aspect of the confidence is make a move confidence. So this is about your interpersonal skills. Let us say you like someone, so you go and talk to them, or you wait for them to come and talk to you, or you send a positive signal, or you just keep it to yourself. All these aspects affect your life in some or the other way, right? So this is about confidence. So let me move to the next aspect, self-awareness. As I've already mentioned, self-awareness is the most important aspect. So how do you inculcate self-awareness? So self-awareness is a very simple thing. It's just keep observing whatever you are doing. Even if you are not able to change your habits, just observe your habits. That is the first thing. So what do you observe? So there are mainly three aspects which you need to observe. First thing is that your thought patterns. What kind of thoughts are coming in your mind? You need to observe that. Second aspect is emotions. What kind of emotions are you feeling on a regular basis? Are you able to control them? For suppose many situations makes you sad, miserable, and all. But if you are aware that you are sad, then you can actually change your mind. But if you are not aware and you just become sad, you succumb to it, and you will never be able to come out of it. Third aspect is actions. So what kind of actions you are doing in your life? For suppose you are going and disturbing class, or you are going and saying rude things to your friends, or you are insulting your friends, or you are making fun of them. So these are all actions which are very common, which happen in college. But if you observe them, then you get a chance to correct them. So correction is a later part. First part is you should be able to observe them. Observation is a very powerful thing. So let us say some of you are addicted to smoking, maybe, or you have just started to college and started smoking. Yeah, so it might be fashionable, it's been romanticized in the movies and you do it. But if you start observing that, what is that doing to you? So how do you feel when you are doing that habit? What happens within your body? Is it making you feel happy and energetic, or is it sucking the energy out of you? That you need to understand. Once you understand, then at a later point you will be like, okay, so this is something which is not helping me and I need to change this. So that will happen only at a later point, only if you start observing. If you don't observe, the question of changing it will never come. So self-awareness is the most important aspect. So how other aspects of self-awareness is like what kind of food you are eating. So if you become aware of food, you can improve your health. And for suppose, how are your sleeping habits? How many hours are you sleeping? Is it the right amount? Are you, for suppose, many college students sleep very late in the night and wake up like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I am sure most of you guys must be just 5 minutes before the session you must have woke up and you should have signed in. Many of you, I am pretty sure, because even I have done that. So you just observe them. So observation, when you observe, you have a power with you. So next important aspect of which I would like to talk about is emotional intelligence. So most of you must have watched many family oriented movies in your life, right? Like there is a particular family situation, and hero kind of he talks out certain family members, he talks to enemies and makes sure that they all become friends. So what is that skill called? That skill is called emotional intelligence. A hero always has emotional intelligence. In real life also, emotional intelligence is used in many ways by many people, mainly by business leaders and politicians. So if you see, has any of you seen any of the speeches by our Prime Minister Modi? So how does he speak? Have you observed it? So when during this lockdown, how many of you have gone and clapped when our prime minister asked us to clap? How many of you guys rang the bell? Right, I think many of you must be doing, and you know that all across the country, lot of people have done it, right? So why did they do it? Because the prime minister could convince you that this is something which needs to be done, and he created that bond with you that okay, if our prime minister is telling this, we should do it. That he used emotional intelligence there to make you do certain things, right? This skill is also used by business leaders also. So for suppose there is a CEO and he has to manage his team, and he has to manage customers, he has to manage shareholders, he has to manage suppliers. You need to talk to a lot of people, right? So if you want to talk to a lot of people, you need to have a certain amount of emotional intelligence. What does emotional intelligence mean? You should be able to understand how the opposite person is feeling, what the opposite person is thinking. Based on that, you should be able to tell what is useful in the situation. Now, emotional intelligence is a very difficult skill. It can't be acquired very quickly. So self-awareness is the mother of emotional intelligence. Nobody can acquire emotional intelligence without self-awareness. So now I'll give you a situation. So for suppose you are traveling by road, and suddenly some car came and you crashed the car, and the driver came out of the car, okay, and he started abusing you. So what will you guys do? Most of you guys will abuse him back, okay. So now imagine a situation. You are going to a hospital where a loved one is admitted, and you have to reach there immediately, and this car came and crashed you, and now that person is coming and shouting at you. What are you going to do? Are you going to again shout at him? Because shouting at him is going to make the situation worse, and you will not be able to reach the hospital on time, and it can be detrimental to the person's life there. So what do you need to do? You need to first of all manage your own emotions, because once that other person has come and started shouting at you, it triggers certain emotions in you. It triggers your ego. You'll start saying, who the hell are you to abuse me? I have the right to abuse you. You go into that ego trip, right? So if you have self-awareness, you won't go into the ego trip. You will do what is required. Maybe because you will understand that okay, in the next 10 minutes I need to reach the hospital, and this person is shouting at me. So how do I manage this situation? Maybe you'll say, sorry sir, it was my mistake, let me correct it. I apologize, you can say. Or else, sir, you are shouting, please don't shout, because the mistake is from your end. Anyhow, I have some work, so don't bother me, and you will leave that situation. So to react in both these ways, you need to have calm and composure in yourself. Then only you will be able to act in a emotionally intelligent way, right? So that is the importance of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence comes at a later point, when you are at a certain level of self-awareness. Then you will be able to implement emotional intelligence. Most probably you will get to this stage when you start working and interact with your colleagues, customers, your boss, everyone. So that's but emotional intelligence is very, very essential in the job market in the future, because still machines can't show emotions. Even if they show emotions also, many people will not relate, because it is programmed by someone. Emotions are the core of human being, and that is what makes us human. And people like to talk to others, and if you are emotionally intelligent, you can attract a huge segment of people, and people will want to work with you, people will want to do business with you. So this is a skill which you should have, you should acquire for sure, and you should always keep in your mind. So next aspect is world exposure. To make it more simple, we can also say as general knowledge. So how do you acquire general knowledge? So there are multiple ways to do it. So first thing is that you should have the exposure in your particular field. If you are, let's say you are a BBA professional, you need to understand what's happening in your field. What are the latest businesses? So for suppose, what is the business model of Swiggy? What is the business model of Ola? What is the business model of Amazon? What is the business model of Geo? So this is the world exposure in your field. But you should also have world exposure in other things which are general. So the fact is that in the future, people who are generalists, for suppose an IAS officer is a generalist because he has a lot of general knowledge. Generalists are going to be very crucial in coming future. So you practice to become a generalist. How do you become a generalist? So you start acquiring knowledge of various subjects: technology, artificial intelligence, science, biology, history, geography. There are a lot of subjects. Start with subjects which you like. And if you go 10 years, 20 years back, people used to go and sit in the library and read magazines all the day. So to get this knowledge, you are in a most comfortable situation as of now. Everything is available on your phone, and your phone is the opening to the universe. Anything you want is available on Google. Only thing is required is your intent to know. If you have the intent to know, there is information out there. So best way for this is to start following news channels or certain channels which give you the required information on social media. Use Facebook, use LinkedIn, and also keep reading newspapers. Just be curious and start understanding the world around you. This is the right time to start for you. So now we are reaching the last segment of the session. So here I am going to tell you some practical things which you can do today as of now. First and foremost thing is that sign up on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very, very good platform for everyone to connect with others and start speaking professionally. For suppose if you're on Facebook, first of all, Facebook doesn't allow you to connect with random people. Even if you connect with random people, you don't know what to talk. So most of the conversations will be like flirting, etc., on Facebook. Whereas LinkedIn is a very professional platform. So you can choose which kind of people you want to connect with, and you can start connecting. So first of all, build your own profile on LinkedIn. It's your digital persona. Once you build it, start connecting with the right set of people. For suppose if you are a professor, start connecting with professors in other universities across the country. If you are a student, you go and connect with people, other students in your background, and also you connect with people who can be your potential employers in the future. This is the right time to start building relationships. Relationships are a very important tool for your professional success in the future. And LinkedIn is a great platform to start with. You can have respectful, meaningful conversations there. Second thing is create a personal digital brand. So most of you are going to know others through their digital presence. For suppose if someone wanted to know about me, most probably they'll go check my LinkedIn profile. Maybe they will go on Instagram, or they will go on Facebook and see what I've been doing. So your digital presence is very important. So create a presence and create a mark on your audience. I'll give my personal example. So I have been on Facebook since 2009. And in this last 10 years, I've connected with more than 5,000 people. And I have been posting consistently for every 1 week, 10 days. I will whatever I am feeling, whatever is happening in my life, I keep posting, and people have started observing my life. So when I've started my company, and when I start talking to people, they automatically reply because they have seen me for a long time. They already know what I am, and this has helped me immensely in my business. So create a personal digital brand. Either it is Instagram is also a very good way to connect with your peers. So create your own persona, what you stand for, what is your style, what are your views. You can put it in a beautiful way through Instagram also. So Instagram and LinkedIn, both of them are very important. Be on there, connect with more people, and keep creating content on a regular basis. And don't do it with any other motive. Just do it because of your own interest, and this all effort will give results in the long term. Let's say you are 1 year into the job search, then these things will help you a lot. Third thing is that talk to people and talk to the right people. So for suppose you have a lot of friends from your college, how many of them are the right people for you? That you need to understand. Because see, college is a very illusionary thing, because there is a lot of peer pressure. Because someone else is doing it, you also start feeling like I should also do it, because that is a popular thing. But once you guys graduate, each of you will be in a different situation altogether, and whether you are popular with these people is not going to matter. What is going to matter is that are you with the right kind of employers, are you with the right kind of colleagues? This is what going to happen. So talk to people and talk to the right people. So that's the thing. Next important advice is listen. Listening is the most underrated communication skill. For in my entire life, see, now I am 30 years old. Till I was 27, I hardly spoke. I was always listening. And when I say listening, it's just keeping silent is not listening. You should be genuinely trying to understand what the opposite person is telling. You should genuinely try to understand where that person is coming from, and listen. What is their point of view? You don't need to react or anything. Listen from multiple people. When you start listening to many people, there will come a point in your life when you will start speaking automatically, because subconsciously you have consumed so much knowledge that logically your mind has connected all this data, and all this data will come out through your mouth in the way of insights. And people will be fascinated, like, wow, how is this guy able to speak like this? What did he learn? So this will come only if you listen. You have to listen openly. Just don't listen just for the heck of it. For suppose, I am sure that many of you, when attending the classes, you just listen for the heck of it. You might not be trying to understand. Don't do that. Just listen. Maybe if you are not so comfortable with a subject or anything, okay, that's fine. But when you are talking to people, when you are trying to watch some content, listen. That's the most important thing. Again, there are two parts in listening. One is what a person is saying, and second aspect is what the person is not saying. You should be able to listen to that also. For suppose there is an international standoff between India and China. So China says something, but India has to listen to also something which it doesn't say. That is where your wisdom and wiseness come. But it will take some time for you to reach that level, to listen to what is not being said. So first start with listening carefully and curiously start listening to people. Next is learn and be curious about life and universe. See, human civilization has been on the earth for thousands of years, millions of years maybe, right? But still we exactly don't know what is the universe. We are still figuring out, right? There have been many great people across the world, many scientists, many philosophers, many rulers, all of them. Even still then we don't know what exactly this universe is. So be curious. Even if you have become very smart and you have become like you are getting the best job in the market, still there is lot of things to learn. I myself have lot of things to learn regarding the universe and how life happens. So be curious. Don't live this life that okay, this is job, this is this. So just imagine how you were when you were a kid. You are enthusiastic about everything in your life, right? If you see a tree, if you see animal, everything. You are curious. You are in wonder of what it is. Maintain that wonder and start observing things and start learning things. And the last important thing I would like to say here is that use technology. Technology is the biggest boon for your generation. If this pandemic had happened 50 years back, situation would have been very worse, because people will become insecure about the information also. People will not be getting information. Only newspapers would have been the information. Maybe at the maximum radio. You would not have been able to communicate with people around you, right? So, but still, now that is possible. We are able to organize ourselves in such a way that the virus impact is the lowest, because that is because of the technology we are having. Make use of that technology. Google is the biggest technology which is in your hands. Anything, any question you have in mind, there is an answer on Google. In my childhood, I still didn't have this. At least till 8th class, 10th class, I never had this facility. I was curious about questions, but I didn't have the means to find the answer, and I didn't put that much effort also to find out. But when you right now, when you have that question, the answer is available after a Google search. So Google is a very powerful medium. Any subject you can get a basic understanding through Google. Start using Google for everything. For suppose you are reading an article, for suppose someone is teaching you something and you don't understand certain word, just Google that word, you will be able to understand. So Google is very, very useful. So start. I'm sure many of you are not using it effectively. If you start using Google effectively, I mean, your career will be transformed. I can assure you that. So these are the practical tips which I'm offering you to enable your employable skills. So we have almost reached the end of the session. So I would like to end here with an introduction to SHN. So you just know how the world is shaping up, because SHN is an important organization in the current situation, and I would like you to know that. So now I'm going to play a audio visual of 8 minutes, which will introduce you to SHN.
So we are not able to hear the audio, sir.
Is it?
Yes, sir. Can you increase the volume?
I think it's at maximum volume.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
The future lifestyle.
Are you able to hear now?
Strong human network.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you hear?
Yeah, we are able to hear the voice.
And a trusted global community. SHN helps you transform your career, relationships, health, and fitness. SHN's lifestyle consists of concepts such as strong human framework, mindset, principles, and values. They majorly revolve around self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and developing the right attitude. It helps you become the best version of yourself. SHN's lifestyle principle is being honest to myself is the best way to lead a quality life. SHN's lifestyle perspectives are: I am the owner of my life. I find solutions. SHN's concept cut through various age groups, professions, nationalities, cultures, making it a truly global lifestyle community. SHN is structured into 5 levels and 12 categories to accommodate people from diverse backgrounds, experience, and expertise. Level 1 consists of cadets. Level 2 consists of professionals in training. Level 3 consists of professionals, academicians, life coaches, health and wellness professionals, SME business professionals, and homemakers. Level 4 consists of senior professionals, academicians, career coaches, senior life coaches, entrepreneurs, senior health and wellness professionals, senior citizens. Level 5 consists of active mentors, observing mentors, subject matter experts. Students and young professionals at level 1 and 2 can interact with professionals and senior professionals for career advancement through opportunities and guidance. Professionals and senior professionals at level 3 and 4 can interact with career coaches, mentors, entrepreneurs for opportunities, career mentoring, and networking. Everyone can connect with wellness professionals to guide and encourage them towards better health and fitness. Startup entrepreneurs and SMEs can find customers, co-founders, employees, and business collaborations. SHN empowers remote teams by improving trust, ownership, accountability, communication. Members looking for life partner can connect with interested individuals who live the strong human lifestyle. Everyone can find a trusted community where they can discuss particular aspects of their life and find a solution. So how does SHN become a trusted community? To join SHN's lifestyle membership, you need to take the Strong Human Pledge and accomplish the Strong Human Challenge. Strong Human Challenge is a 21-day paid self-awareness challenge where you journal various aspects of your day, your actions, emotions, thought patterns, food and drink habits, sleep patterns. To take the Strong Human Challenge, one has to apply for the Challenger Kit. The Challenger Kit fee is rupees 6,999 in India, $150 outside India. Strong Human Pledge and Challenge make sure that you internalize SHN's lifestyle concepts and sets expectations on how you are supposed to behave with fellow members. To maintain trust within the community, we have established an appreciation and feedback system through which any negative and undesired behavior is documented and discouraged. There are already more than 150 distinguished paid members with a first-degree network of more than 10,000 highly accomplished individuals across the globe. These individuals come from institutions such as IITs, IIMs, and prestigious universities across India, USA, and Australia, with professional backgrounds such as business management, engineering, bank management, public administration, academics, leadership experts, training and coaching professionals. Some of our members from diverse backgrounds are SHN is founded by Sainath Maharata, who is an IIM Calcutta alumnus, previously worked with SBI and Paytm. Entry at level 1 and 2 is by application. Entry for level 3, 4, and 5 is only by invite. So are you ready for the future lifestyle? Are you ready for the strong human challenge? Speak with your strong human friend to join. Strong Human Network, the future lifestyle. Explore SHN concepts on www.shn.live.
Right. 1 second. Let me share this. Yeah. So I think you guys have got a decent understanding of what SHN is. So students can join at level 1 as cadets. Interested people can contact Professor Sanjogita for this. So moving forward, yeah. So at the conclusion, I would like to say is that be the best version of yourself and be a strong human. This is the best way for you to increase and enhance your employable skills. And I thank the faculty and administration of Ramaya College for giving me this opportunity. And thank you everyone for listening. I am now open to questions. Before that, I just want to tell you that you guys can follow us on Instagram @ Strong Human Network says. That's our handle. Again, I am repeating, Strong Human Network says. Do follow us on Instagram. Handing over to ma'am now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspirational talk. By highlighting the keywords like confidence, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and progressive attitude, hope the participants and our students were able to follow in their day-to-day life. Thank you so much. So shall we go for the question and answer session now?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, sir. So now it's over to Mrs. Rachana, Assistant Professor, to take over the question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you, Savita ma'am. So, sir, shall we move to the question and answer session?
Yes.
Okay. We have almost 4 to 5 questions. So let us start with first one. So we have a question from Shankar. So what he tells us, what is the preparation mechanism for career?
Right. So see, which year he is from? Can you just tell me?
So we're not so clear about it because it was in the
Okay.
chat box.
Right. Okay. So the first thing is that for any career, first you need to identify which is the sector you are targeting. Right. So that is the first thing. Many people are not clear with this aspect itself. So you need to decide which sector based on multiple factors. One is that are you interested in that particular field? That is the first part. Second part is that are there job opportunities in that field? So these are the two main things which you need to consider. So once you consider these two things, and if it is positively that okay, there are opportunities here, then what you need to do is that you need to identify the top companies which are hiring in this particular field. So let's say make a list of 5 or 10 companies and go to their website and do good research on them. And then you try to talk to people who are in the particular jobs which you are aspiring to get into. At least talk to 5 to 10 people who are in this. You introduce them yourself that okay, this is what I am, this is my profile. So how do I get there? What are the skills I need to get? I need to acquire for the same. Then once you have that, you start working on those skills. And here the important thing is that a lot of times these job opportunities come through the network. So you need to know the right people. So that is where even your college comes into place, because for every job out there are like 100 applicants. So you need to make sure that you come in the top 5 or 10 so that you get into that consideration set, and then you have a good chance to crack the interview. First thing is that, for suppose everyone applies for a job, but out of 100 applications, 90 applications are not even seen. So you have to make your profile in such a way that you stand in the first 10. And it's a difficult thing to do. You need to build your profile, you need to know people. So it takes a lot of effort. So to be again, to summarize, identify which job, identify the opportunities, identify the companies which offer these opportunities, and start talking to people, start building relationships with them, and go forward. And another important aspect is that start building your LinkedIn profile. Have an impressive LinkedIn profile. Start working on your softer skills. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So we have a question from Divya Patil. It is, economic downfall is something we weren't aware of, nor had any idea how to face such a situation. So how do we deal with that?
Right. See, economic situation is at the moment very, very crazy across the world, not just in India. And to be very frank, nobody has a straight answer for this. Okay, but think of think of it in this way. So still, what is economy? Economy is like, so there is some activity going on. So there is someone who is buying certain thing. So when there is a demand, then there needs to be supply, and if you need supply, there should be production. So only when production comes, then supply comes, and for this production you need manpower, and that is where jobs get created. So that is how jobs get created in private sector. In government sector also there are certain jobs. Okay, so it's a mix of both these things, and it depends upon what kind of goods people are looking for. At the moment, what is happening is that people are not looking for anything at all. They are looking for their health, their survival. Anything which is not required, they are postponing. That is the result. That is due to the situations of this COVID and all. So that's what is happening. So everything is not in our control. So government is trying to create jobs, because people will start consuming. For suppose you will start going to the restaurant only if you know that, okay, nothing is going to happen to you. So when people start coming to the restaurant, then the hotel restaurant owner will think that, okay, so there is demand, so I need chefs, I need waiters. So that is the simple logic on which every industry works. Okay, now the thing is that we have to see how things shape. It's for a lot of people, economy is not even the most important thing. People's health is the most important thing. When when this is settled, then economy will come. So now let's say, even if economy is down, there are certain sectors which will do good. Even that, for suppose medical sector, biological research, still it is doing good, because of the actually due to the crisis, because people are looking for a vaccine, people are looking for a medicine, right? So there will be certain industries which actually boom due to this. For suppose door delivery of goods, e-commerce, these are the sectors which are going to thrive in this kind of situations. So if you can target these kind of industries, but again you need to understand that there is more supply, less demand of jobs. So when there is more supply and there is less demand, so there will be a pressure on supply. So the most talented people in the supply, they get jobs. So you just make sure that you are in the best of your game. So talk to people, identify industries which are relevant, and enhance and improve your skills, so that you fall in the top 10% of people, and you are in the list of people who are being considered.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have another question from Ishani. Sir, could you please share with us your experiences in IIMC and the rich values you inherited from that place?
Right. Thank you for that question. So see, basically what happens in IIM is that everyone has cleared the competitive exam and has come, and many of them come from other backgrounds like IITs and all. So there are very diverse set and very intelligent people out there, and the campus gives you an ecosystem where you can talk to more people, try different things, and there are different industry leaders who come and discuss things. So for suppose in my second year, I was taught by someone who actually created the Kaun Banega Crorepati show. So they taught us on how the first season was, how was the second season, and how did their marketing strategy change from season 1 to season 2 to season 3 till 10th season. So how do you make an ad film? So we got to talk with a very diverse set of people. And an advantage of IIM is that a lot of people from IIM are placed in very senior management positions across different companies across the world. So that is the added value. Yeah. So I think, yeah, I have answered that question.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
We have another question from Kumar. It's like,
Right.
what your viewpoint on dealing with depression? What's happening currently now? So, viewpoint on dealing with depression.
Right. So it's a very contextual question, Kumar. So see, depression, there are two aspects to it. If there is a clinical aspect, for suppose, clinically, medical professionals decide that, okay, this person is depressed and he needs medication. So I am not the right person to answer for that kind of situations. But generally, kind of what I can talk about the anxiety and all these things which comes due to the uncertainty in day-to-day life. There is a way for it. So that is why. So if you ask me, because I'm running a company based on that, I'll say that be a strong human. Then automatically depression will not come to you, because if you are with the right set of people, even people who can get depressed, they get cheered up, right? So for suppose if you are with the right set of people, they will tell you, they will give you the right attitude which is required towards life, and they are with you. So ours is such a community. So I would say that make sure that people around you are positive. It's so take help, talk to people. So there are online mediums now. There are a lot of groups, communities where you can talk and discuss. Don't be shy, because this is something which is, if this is something which is bothering, start talking to people. And there are enough people in the world who are ready to listen. And if you know anyone who is facing this, please ask them to talk to me. I can definitely help.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you. So, we have another question from Aditya Roy. Which
Right.
sector in the industry may flourish in the present situation according to you?
Right. See, technology will flourish, because now you see many people are going to work from home, and you need a very good technology for that. So anything, when I say technology, there are again two aspects. One is let's say 4G, 5G data, internet. All these things are going to keep moving forward. In fact, they are going to move at a faster pace than previously. At the same time, software is going to be enhanced. There will be more innovative products which will be coming. So for suppose Zoom, you see Zoom was, I think, a $1 billion or $2 billion company two months down the before, and now its valuation is at $47 billion, and we are also connecting on Zoom, right? So that itself tells the power of technology. So try to be near to the technology and try to get into a job around technology. And third aspect is digital marketing. Digital marketing is 90% going to be digital from now, because people are not moving outside. So out of home advertising and all, it's going to come down. So digital marketing, how it can be done more innovatively? How can you reach a wider audience? What are the different tools? So Instagram is a tool, Facebook is a tool, LinkedIn is a tool, TikTok is a tool, Google Ads is a tool, YouTube Ads is a tool. So there are multiple platforms on which you can do digital marketing. So digital marketing is something which I guess all BBA students should learn, not just from an academic perspective. Try to do something, implement it, or you go and work for free for some companies where they need digital people in digital marketing. In fact, even I have a role in digital marketing, which I can offer as an internship. So if anyone is interested, please contact your coordinator, and you guys can reach out to me. So again, to summarize, technology and digital marketing, these are definitely going to thrive.
Yes, so you were true. Digital marketing is a one sector which is flourishing a lot nowadays.
Right.
So we have another question from Nayana. In the present situation, people are not getting jobs and the employers aren't getting employees who are meeting the requirements. So how do we make ourselves efficient for current jobs?
Right. See, the main thing is that, as I mentioned in the presentation also, you should be open to learn and listen, and it comes with the right attitude. So mainly, you must have read a lot of articles that lot of graduates are not fit to be employees and like that. So this is majorly due to the softer skills. So what happened is that when you say soft skills, so people understand this as not so important skills. Soft means weak, like that you understand. So people are not emphasizing, putting enough emphasis on this, but actually these soft skills are not soft skills, they are life skills. Your life is dependent on these skills. If you improve these life skills, automatically you will become more appealing to the to prospective employers. That is what SHN is also trying to do by imparting you the life skills, by changing your lifestyle, right? So focus on life skills, self awareness. That's the most important thing.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And we have a last question for the session, sir. It is from Harshita. How
Right.
do we recognize our own strength?
Right. See, again, this comes from self-awareness. So there is a management framework which you can use. Okay. So that is called SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. So you just write down on a table that draw a horizontal line and a vertical line and write SWOT: a strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. So strengths are come from different ways. It's not, it's inherent for some of them are inherent within you. For suppose you are good at something, you are good at art, you are good at writing, you are good at talking to people, or you are good at reading. These are certain kinds of strength. So when you start analyzing yourself and start talking to people also, start talking to sensible people who can help you understand your strengths. When you have those conversation, automatically things come out. And then there are other kinds of strengths depending upon the situation you are in. For suppose if your father is in business, it gives you a certain strength because you can understand business concepts from him. For suppose your parents are into academics, or your parents are into government service. So these are contextual things. And if you have a certain financial ability, for suppose if you have financial ability to go and study in abroad, so these are also your strengths, you can play on them. These privileges are not available to everyone. So you need to understand yourself and your situation. And your situation is like, where is, which college you are studying, which what is your family background, all these things you consider and leverage them, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for responding to all the questions.
Right.
So our participants are very happy and they've also given us a positive feedback from your session in the chat box. So thank you once again for it.
Hopefully it was useful. Some concepts maybe they would have understood, but yeah. So thanks for the academic team of Ramaya College for hosting this, and it was, I also thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you guys. So you guys can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, official channel on Instagram, Strong Human Network says, and you can also connect directly with me on LinkedIn as well as Facebook. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys. Hello.
So there was a disturbance in audio. Shall I continue?
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah. So, sir, we'll have a vote of thanks now from our head of the department,
Sure.
Dr. Lakshmipati Naidu, sir. So
Sure.
I'll just over to him, sir.
Good afternoon, one and all. Dr. M. Lakshmipati Naidu, Head, Department of Management Studies, BBA, Ramaya College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Bangalore. I take this opportunity to thank wholeheartedly Sri Sainath Mahapatra, founder and CEO, Strong Human Network, Bangalore, for accepting our invitation and to be a resource person for today's webinar. In spite of his busy schedule, he spared his valuable time in sharing his knowledge and experience on behalf of the Department of Management BBA. I thank wholeheartedly, sir. I take this opportunity to thank our dynamic management chief executive, Shri Ram Prasad, sir, chief of finance, Shri G. Ramchandra, sir, for their kind support. I take this opportunity to thank our respected principal, Dr. A. Nagaratna, for gracing and extending the support in organizing this webinar. I take this opportunity to thank our respected Dean, Department of Management Studies, Dr. Bindu Nambia, who is instrumental in organizing this webinar and gracing this webinar. I thank our beloved Vice Principal, yes, Jairam sir, for gracing this occasion. I take this opportunity to thank all the teaching and non-teaching staff for their immense support in making this webinar a grand success. I thank all the coordinators for extending their support in materializing this event. I thank all the participants for their active participation for today's webinar, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
And now over to our Dean, Dr. Bindu Nambia.
Yes. Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Mr. Sainath, for that wonderful session. I think it was very, very interactive and, very pragmatic approach to reaching out to the students. I'm sure my students have gained a lot from listening to you, and very practical examples. Keeping you as an example in front of them definitely inspires them. There's no doubt about it. Of course, it's our management's constant support that helps us organize such sessions for our students. I hope each and every participant in this session has really noted some of the key points about what Mr. Sainath focused on today. Some of which I really thought we should, carry with us. Things like being able to identify your own self-awareness. When you were talking about self-awareness, it covers everything. In fact, the career analysis, career planning, career development, anything that you want to do starts with self-development. And the first thing is self-awareness. The moment you're aware of your strengths, weakness, and what potential opportunities you could capitalize on, and all those threats that you need to really work on, it becomes so easy to kind of look through and see the options. And even the personal examples that you were giving about how you need to stay on track with your goals. Very enriching, very, very, very live session that we had from you, Mr. Sainath. Thank you so much for the session today. I must thank, yes, I must thank the entire team, the HOD, as well as all the faculty members who have put the event together so beautifully. And every student who has made that effort to log in today, listen out, I'm sure you've got very good takeaways today. So thank you so much, and we hope to see you more. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Looking forward. Thank you very much.
God bless. Thank you.